Hello and welcome to episode 87 of the Book Wars Pod. I'm Miranda here with Chris and Kristen, and we're doing
We're doing Battlefront: Twilight Company chapters
8 through 20.
You did it.
Thanks, Ma.
That's it. That's the intro.
I got excited.
What's up, Chris? How you doing? Unsupervised pod part 2.
I'm tired, man.
I know. Fuck this. It's Monday again.
Today was an extremely long Monday, and then I took myself out to dinner, which is great. I went to the Tex-Mex place that I tried to go to last night without fucking remembering that it's goddamn Cinco de Mayo, and so there was like a 45-minute wait for a table.
Yeah, that'll happen.
That didn't happen today, did it? It was fine, wasn't it?
No, today it was totally fine. And so I went and I treated myself to enchiladas, and they were delicious, and now I'm really fucking full.
Okay, so we just need to make sure you're awake during this podcast. Got it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, don't worry. I poured myself tequila, so that should help.
Tequila! What kind of tequila are you drinking, Dad?
I'm drinking that really nice Blanco that I think I've had on the pod before, but that we got in Mexico from Distillería La Fortaleza.
Ooh, so fancy.
Yum.
It's delicious. I according to the internet, they sell it in the States. I just need to find it because
Ooh.
Virginia is garbage. So
Yeah, and I'm sure it's hella expensive
TM.
once you find it somewhere, if it's actually good.
I mean, it's probably pretty expensive, but nobody actually knows what tequila does. So it's not rum, but
It's a great point. Miranda, you have 2 Maryland koozies with your 2 beers in them. You're a trash person. You want to tell the people what you're drinking?
Yeah, I also have a Maryland bottle opener to deal with this, so
I hate you so much.
Jesus, do you bathe in Old Bay?
I wish. It's a little gritty, though. But
We stand gritty on this pod.
I am drinking a beer that is not from Maryland. It is from Portland. It is Breakside Brewing's True Gold. As you can probably surmise, it is a golden ale. Are there tasting notes?
Nope.
There sure are not, but I had one earlier, and it's very tasty. It's light and refreshing, and I quite enjoy it.
They came in bottles, so I think the tasting notes are probably on the 6-pack holder somewhere.
That would make sense, but I'm not gonna go find that.
Nope. I'm drinking Cold Snack Montucky because it's good and tastes a little bit sweet, like whatever. It's what Quinn bought at Whole Foods.
Respect.
Nothing too exciting. I can't stop drinking that knife beer that Miranda doesn't like that much. That is the only I drank it on the pod last week.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, because I couldn't pronounce it. But anyway, I just keep getting it because I really, really like it. So, whatever. I had one of those before the pod, and now I'm just drinking Montucky. Do we have
Fair.
any official pod business?
I don't think so.
I don't
Literally,
think so
literally
either.
where my head is at is tumbleweeds are going through my brain, and I'm wondering if I want a beer after this.
Ooh. I'm going to go with yes.
I mean,
Make good
I
choices.
have literally, the only reason we have beer, because you know us, we don't have beer that often. Literally, the only reason I have beer is I have 5 out of a 6-pack of Negro Modelos in my fridge, which I only bought because I was cooking with them. I was making a batch of drunken beans, and so I needed beer to brew them in, except then the beans came out really shitty, and so now they're just really gross. So now I just have the beer.
Rip. Beans.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
That is disappointing.
I blame the recipe.
Yeah. Do you guys have one of those racks that you can put a chicken on with a beer can in it? Because we did that for the first time the other day, and it was exciting and delicious.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need more details of what you're talking about.
There are these. Sorry, I've had like multiple. I've had one before, so I'm like, these are a cooking thing. No, they're not. They're a beer thing, I think. There are these little racks that you can get, and it holds a beer, which goes inside the chicken, and
As one does.
yes, and the chicken stands up, and then you roast the chicken, and it's a beer can chicken, and it makes it all moisty and delicious.
Yeah, that still isn't helping me. I'm gonna be dead honest with you, but regardless, it sounds great.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
You guys would like it because it's easy. You can just do it with like whatever beer you have in the fridge.
Okay.
And
That
you
I
just
respect that.
You just stick and we stand a whole chicken on this pod because they're cheap and
Mhm.
have a lot of food.
Yep.
So Miranda's laughing at me saying we stand a whole chicken, but whatever.
No, I'm laughing because all I can think of is, and then you put the beer on the chicken's butt.
Yeah, then you put the beer up the chicken's butt and you roast the chicken. That's how it works. That's how
What?
anything works.
I'm honestly more confused than before I asked for clarification. So thanks for that.
Okay, so like when you when you like stuff a turkey, like
Yeah.
at Thanksgiving, you like shove
Yes.
everything up the turkey's butt.
Yes.
It's the same thing except you stick it upright. You stick the chicken upright on the beer can and you shove the beer can up the chicken's butt. So then the chicken looks like it's standing on. We did it like on the grill. You can do it in the oven, I think.
Wait, this is a real manner of cooking chicken?
Yeah.
We did it the other day. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's super lit. It's very tasty. It's like a thing.
Did we, I'm okay. I don't know if I got lost somewhere along the way, if we switched topics or if we switched what we were talking about. I'm honestly just not sure at this point.
No, that's I don't know. I was just telling you about beer can chicken. It's fine. I'm giving you permission to check your phone. I just sent you a photo.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Somehow the photo has helped him.
But
I mean, it's very
how does
descriptive.
that cook though if the chicken's upright? Like how does that cook evenly?
It cooks evenly because you roast it. It's fine. It does the thing that it does. It's just like cooking on its side. I don't get it.
I'm very skeptical.
Okay, well we made it the other day and it was delicious. So
Okay. Good.
But yeah, the one in the photo that I sent you does not have a stand, but they make it so that they have one that like has a stand, so you don't have to worry about tipping it over, which is great.
Okay. I think the stand is where I got confused because when you started talking about it, it sounded like some sort of like kitchen object.
It is a kitchen object.
No, the stand is, but then you started talking about shoving a beer up a chicken's ass, and I was like, that's not an object, that's an activity.
Oh,
Porque no los bofo.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Let's just not talk
Talk about
about
Star Wars?
chickens. Let's yeah. Was that an invitation for me to start talking? Miranda, you're the host.
Oh fuck. So. Oh god, I didn't write these plot points.
Yeah, honestly, reading through this, it looks like there was one addition to my notes.
You're rude.
two additions to my notes.
Did you not read this yet, Miranda?
I went through it.
God, you're the new Kristen.
Sorry.
I read it and put LMAO with lots of O's.
Mhm.
And everyone's dead.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay. So that's three notes.
And I put, how is Vader so scary? That
Yes.
was also me.
Yes.
Okay. So, a big thing I think in this section, which was chapters 8 to 20. I don't remember if I said that at the top. Was about kind of the relationship between Namir and Chalice. How do we pronounce her name?
I've been going with Chalice in my head, but I'm open to debate on that.
No, we'll roll with that. And it's really interesting because they're in a lot of ways kind of similar. You know, they're both part of the.
What are you laughing at?
I can see you tweeting.
Oh.
Sorry.
Are you tweeting about shoving things up a chicken's butt?
Yes. What do you think? Kate's not here. We're having unsupervised pod.
This is true. And ironically, Kate would. Well, no, because they're not live chickens, so Kate would not enjoy the chicken talk. But
So, Namir and Chalice kind of are similar in the fact that neither are particularly dedicated to the rebellion. And obviously, you know, we see Chalice do it because, like, she wants to not get dead by Darth Vader, and she's willing to kind of do whatever she can to, you know, prevent that death. And it just so happens that, like, reaching out to the rebellion and offering up, like, valuable intelligence on what the Empire is doing is kind of how she goes about that. And Namir is just kind of... We didn't really get to see too much more of his background, but he seems like he just kind of fell into it. Like, I'm not sure, and I don't know if we'll see this later, but it never seemed like an actual choice that he ever made.
yeah, it's interesting.
Do we know how... Oh my god, why am I always like this? Do we know how old he is when we first see him in the beginning of the book? Fuck off. That's a legitimate question.
What do you mean by beginning? Like, I don't remember.
Like the first like weird interlude of him becoming a war baby.
Oh, so like when he's young.
Yeah.
I think he's. I interpreted him being like early to mid teenage years.
Okay, that's what I thought too. So he's young as fuck in
Yeah,
the
he's like
beginning.
child soldier.
Like in the yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that also puts him, like, pretty young now, too. He's just grizzled. Because, like, he's seen some shit.
And they like touch on that in this section. I don't know if it's the section or the section before, but somebody like is asking about how long they've been doing shit and like how long he's been in the rebellion comes up, and they're like, aren't you like actually not very old? And he's like, yeah, funny thing, I've been fighting for forever or whatever. I'm misremembering that, but that was the sentiment.
Yeah, no, I want to say he's now like late 20s ish. I could have made that up.
I thought he was a little closer to Luke and Leia. Because, I mean, we can obviously kind of debate how old he was in that first interlude, or I think it was the first chapter of the book. But
I think it was. I
that
think
was-
that's why I'm like, in the beginning.
But wasn't that just, like, 13 years after the Clone Wars?
Maybe. If you remember that, I trust you. I don't remember.
Wait, I
was
have
gonna
the
say
book
we've
right
got
here.
the
We can
book.
look it up.
But yeah, no, I mean, either way, like, he is pretty young, and we haven't seen kind of how he ended up with Twilight Company yet. I want to say that's coming at some point.
Yeah, it's 13 years after the Clone Wars.
Okay, so that's 10 years,
Yeah.
thereabouts.
So, I mean, if he's like a mid-teen at the beginning, he could be mid-20s by the time we
Yeah,
get to Hoth.
yeah, you're right.
Agree. Man, time is crazy.
I know, right?
Sorry for asking that. But I guess that was my way of saying we didn't get another one of those like interludes about one of the rebel or militia groups that he joined on his home planet or wherever the fuck. But he almost gets dead a bunch of times.
Yeah, he does. He's got
Yeah.
a lot of weird cult shit going on his home planet.
Yeah.
Back on Crucible.
Yeah. Everybody seems to have their own little cult, and then they just kind of go from cult to cult. So, I mean, I guess it, like, makes sense for him to join the rebellion. Just because, like, it's another cause to not really believe in, especially if he's like seen a lot of them before. And I'm sure that's one of the things that he can kind of get disillusioned by, because everyone's like, we have this purpose, we have this whatever. And when he was growing up, it was like, this is how we get food and protection and stuff. And now he's just like, oh yeah, some big, like, greater good bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, so we learn more about Chalice in this section, in that she puts on, it sounds like in her everyday she puts on this affected accent, and when she's actually keeping it 100, she's talking to Namir, she has like kind of this backworld, backwater planet accent that comes out, and like she basically like nails his background or like parts of his background, which I know I'm supposed to just think that's interesting, and I do, so I'm sure we're gonna find out more, but I liked the seeds that were planted.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's funny because like he hates her so much, but like they are extremely similar in that they like come from this shitty background of like backwater worlds where by all rights they should have never even gotten off planet, but like they both just have like a very particular set of skills that allowed them to do so. She's like a logistics genius and he is good at murder. So like
This is how I feel about getting out of New Jersey.
You're good at murder?
You're good at murder? Yeah.
No, but okay. I just meant fuck off, both of you.
I'm really glad me and Miranda were on the same page there.
I mean, it's New Jersey, so everybody's good at murder there. But this... Is that a Sopranos joke?
No, it's good.
Oh, thank you. This section, like, in seeing them kind of speak about these things and seeing her let her guard down a little bit around him makes me like way more invested in her character than I ever thought I would be, because now there's so much I want to know. It's like I want to know how she got to be like this master logistician working for the Empire on the run from Darth Vader himself. I hope we get to see a little bit of that in maybe a flashback interlude later. But if that is something that happens, I think it would provide an unexpected depth to her character.
Miranda is a slut for logistics babies.
Well,
Please let me live.
she's like, it's funny because she is like simultaneously every bit as like smart as she claims to be, because she like created that whole like giant fucking map of how they're going to take down the Empire, but also not nearly as important as she thinks she is, because she's like, you found me at last, Darth Vader, and he's like, bitch, is your name Skywalker? I didn't think so.
Where is he? Yeet.
Well, yeah. Well, like, if she was that important, I think he would not have just yeeted her onto the ground. Like, he would have just killed her.
Oh, I mean, I think, yeah, I wait, I'm sorry, say that again. I thought I had it, and I realized I was missing like two very important words, so you could be saying one thing or the complete opposite thing.
Chris, we're just using yeet in a very, very complicated way. I'm
Honestly,
sorry.
that wasn't even it.
No, I think, like you said, I think she has an inflated sense of self-importance. And, like, that's evident because when Vader, like, is literally force lifting and choking her in Echo Base, like, screaming about Skywalker, if she was really important, he would have just killed her. Or,
Okay.
like, taken her back or something, and instead he yeeted her on the ground.
Yes. Okay. That is what I thought you said. No, you're totally right. Like, he's like, you are so far below my pay grade, I literally don't even know who you are.
Must suck to suck.
I know. It's like, it's almost sad, because like the only thing that she has going for her, it seems like, is her like sense of importance and her sense of like accomplishment in helping build this like massive logistics net within the Empire.
And it's so funny because she's like, you put me on this backwater planet to be the governor. You've already tried to ruin my life. You're not going to ruin my life. And he's like, new phone, who dis?
Right?
Do you have any idea where the Skywalker boy is? For the love. That's all I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yep. Also, I loved the scene where she like slips back into her homeworld accent because it reminds me of the scene in Rebels, and Kate would know the episode title, but I do not. But it's the one where we meet Cham Syndulla for the first time. And Hera is like arguing with him, and as she's yelling, she like slips back into her Ryloth accent. So it's like very immigrant, like forced accent mentality, but also just in my head, it's just her slowly devolving from like a crisp, like proper English accent to just like a shitty Cockney accent, and it's glorious in my mind.
Oh yeah, we during May the 4th, we just like had, despite having all of the Star Wars movies on various media, we just had TBS and TNT on.
As one does.
And we were just like literally sitting there. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning at West Coast HQ, and the part where Leia comes in with the accent was on, and me and Miranda were just like losing our minds. It's like, how many times have I seen that scene? And yet we both thought it was so funny. And I'm like, watch this part. She's gonna back into Darth Vader. And Miranda just is like, I don't understand why no one wants to watch these movies with us.
I know. Honestly, it made me sad that I didn't have cable on May the 4th, but then I just watched TFA and Last Jedi anyway, so.
Perfect. Yeah, no, we just have as everyone who listens to this pod knows, we're a big sports house. So we don't have cable. We have the YouTube TV now. So that has been treating us well.
Nice. Honestly, the only TV I pay for, the only TV I pay for is CBS All Access for the Twilight Zone.
Blah, blah, blah. Other fandoms.
Is Twilight Zone a fandom? Does that count?
Probably. Everything's a fandom.
Everything's a fandom.
Is somebody going to cosplay as Jordan Peele in a suit at the next Comic-Con?
I would not put it past people.
Honestly, that would be
really
fucking
cool,
badass. That'd be amazing.
I don't watch it, but I'm sure somebody would do it and it'd be like a really awesome one, and like, I don't know.
Do it. All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about
Sorry, we got off track.
Not us. Do we have anything else we want to say about Namir and what's her fuck governess?
I did a little bit. So I don't know. It's going back to Namir. It's just funny because like he is very like top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs guy. Like he's like, do I have food? Do I have water? Do I have shelter? Literally everything else doesn't matter. And so like I feel like in his head, he legitimately does think that the Empire and the Rebellion are the same thing. Like when he like gets beat up by those Special Forces dudes because he's like shitting on the Rebellion. Like when he's like, yeah, the Stormtroopers think that Darth Vader's awesome too. And like, he like just fundamentally doesn't understand the difference between like the, Rebellion and Leia and Mon Mothma and whoever, and like the Empire, which is just like avowedly tyrannical. And it's just like, that's an interesting perspective that we haven't seen, particularly in the Rebellion, just because like nobody like goes to fight for a rebellion that you're almost certainly going to lose without like an ideological cause, except this dude, apparently.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'd be really interested to see how he ended up with the Rebellion and like with Twilight Company. Because clearly he doesn't care enough about it to, like, seek them out. I'm sure it just kind of happened one day. And, I think this might go back a little to what we were talking about last week, where, like, he's just been fighting forever. Like, in all these shitty battles. He's been fighting in shitty battles for the Rebellion and all of his life. And, I think, and I don't know if it's because he clearly saw a lot of, like, the cults and, like, whatever organizations before. Like, they clearly either fell out of power or something happened to them where like he was not with them anymore. I have to imagine he's like taking that kind of cynicism into the rebellion. Like, you know, these other things fell, why won't this? This is just doomed to fail against technologically, logistically superior enemy.
They got big ships.
Got big ships and blasters that they're allowed to use more than like 10 times in their lives.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
But yeah. Also, I just really fucking found it funny that when he's like trying to look for a kindred spirit who like doesn't believe in the rebellion, even Han thinks he's being an asshole.
Well, yeah, this is like Han after he decided to come back during A New Hope, right?
I know this is only like a week before like he and Leia finally make out. So like, you know, it is somewhat ideological Han at some point, but when even Han thinks that you're being an asshole in your lack of like faith in the cause, you should probably re-examine.
Agree.
Yeah.
I love how they were like, this whiskey's terrible, let's drink all of it.
Right?
Like, we have all been there.
Alexander Freed is just really good at writing this like military banter.
Yeah, I love the way this has been written so far. It's like very engaging, and I'm not usually one to enjoy like the battle scenes in books that much, which might be an unpopular opinion, but I think that he writes them very well, and like it makes me feel like something like important is happening.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, me and Miranda were not talking off pod, so this is a hypothetical conversation we had. But we said the book was lit, and I said this book is fucking lit, theoretically.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't actually talk about that off pod, because those are the sorts of hard hitting insights that I do expect you to save for our weekly conversations. But I do agree.
Lit AF.
Lit AF. You know who's not lit AF right now? Chalice.
You. Oh.
Also me. I am decidedly not lit right now. I'm just like sitting in the comfy chair, barely staying awake, wanting to sleep off this food coma.
Yep. All right. I know we had like a cheese feast before this. I understand.
How many different kinds of cheese did you have in said feast?
It was not.
It
a
was
cheese
just
feast.
one,
There was one
but-
cheese.
But,
was-
I mean, it's
okay.
still a cheese feast.
Okay.
It's
Is-
delicious. It was on sale for $3.
is one cheese a feast though?
No.
All right, whatever. I thought it was a cheese feast. I don't
Honestly,
care.
now I
Because you
really
ate all the cheese.
I
All right.
really
there was still cheese left.
I want to do a Twitter poll and ask our followers how much cheese, how many different kinds of cheese are required for a cheese feast, except Kate would actually kill us.
What are you talking about? That's Star Wars and pod related.
Oh my god.
It's Star Wars if you put the word space in front of it.
Oh my god.
Space cheese.
Space feast cheese.
Space, how many different kinds of cheese, etc., etc.
Oh, I can't
You
wait
put
for
space
Kate
at
to
the
get back
start of
from
a sentence.
Greece and fucking kill us.
It's great. She has not listened to the last episode yet because she's like, "How's the pod going?" And I'm like, "Oh, you clearly haven't listened yet."
It's mild and on topic as always. Should we talk about how everybody be dying?
Yo, everybody be dying.
Everybody be dead.
It's like all these like not major characters, because like Brand and Gadrin and Namir and barely Chalice are still alive, but like some very solid second tier characters are dead. Like very, very dead. Hal's dead.
Yeah, it's like all of Namir's friends are dead.
Yeah, Hal didn't even get an on-screen death.
LMAO. I know. That was really funny though. But it's interesting. I couldn't like get a read on what Namir thought of him because I was like, he literally calls him Hal because he's like a dick, but also he's like super worried about him because he's Twilight Company.
I know, it's really interesting. I like, just as Miranda was talking 5 minutes ago, put like talking about Hal as a topic for a future episode, but we could do it here instead.
I mean, yeah, he's dead already. So
That's true. He's not.
Let's yeet him
He's
right
not
into this
going to get
outline.
less dead. It's factually correct.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him die this early. I mean, that's probably to be expected in a novel that is about war, and a war where everybody fucking dies all the time. But like, I personally think that Namir respected Hal. I don't think he agreed with him all the time. But you know, he, like you said, Kristen, he seemed kind of worried about him. And I think I could just be like extrapolating, but like Hal really had a lot of confidence in Namir. And I think that's important. Because like if Hal believes in Namir, then like that says something about the relationship or some shit.
Miranda does well with interpersonal conflict and things.
That's
Anyway.
true. I've always known Miranda to be somebody who seeks out conflict. TBH.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking about Hal, I think his relationship with Governor What's-Her-Fuck is also really interesting because, like, first of all, when he be dying, she calls him by his first name, which is very romantic and
Yeah, they done
uncalled
fucked.
for.
They definitely done fucked.
Yeah, fucked. You can tell they're gonna fuck in the first scene where they're together.
There's a shortage of barracks on Hoth. Is all I'm saying. Sometimes you need a roommate.
They have to keep each other warm. It's fine. It's very cold there.
It's
Very
extremely
on
cold.
Hoth.
Anyway, what's his first name again?
Misha. So he is Russian.
My Russian angel. But yeah, I mean, like, that was weird first of fucks because you were like, yeah, she is gone, and then she shows the fuck up later, and you're like, what? Did not expect that from her because she's kind of a shit.
I know, right?
But she was like, gotta keep that dick alive. She failed, but
Yeah, very, very dead dick at this point.
Yeah.
Extremely
She was
dead
like,
dick.
she was very concerned about him being safe too. Like, now that we've just talked about them fucking for a couple minutes, it's distracted me from their actual relationship.
Which was
like,
fucking.
Professionally.
Are you implying that they didn't fuck, Miranda?
Oh no, I'm sure they did, but like,
it was very professional fucking.
you know, like, she's serving a purpose to the rebellion by providing them with information on, you know, all the logistics shit she knows. But I guess this is just going to turn out to be about them fucking. Like, why did she care so much that he was getting out of Hoth alive? Because, like, they've been planning and they've been strategizing and shit, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get more of that later.
Heavy air quotes around planning and strategizing. Added by me just now with my voice.
But Kristen, was it professional fucking or was it business casual fucking? Is the real question.
That's a great question. I don't know. We should ask Leia about this because she was probably like, yeah, I could tell as soon as I was in the room with those two they had been deaf fucking.
Yeah.
she's so good at reading people.
Honestly, that is Leia's force power, flying through space and being able to tell instantly who in the room is fucking.
Where's the lie though? I like to think that even if Kate were not in Greece, she would agree with that sentiment.
You know what? I think it's canon. I think
I
that
think
Kate
it's
would
canon,
agree.
Too. That's yeah. Yes, it's canon that Kate would agree.
Exactly. But no, I definitely think that Namir and Hal's relationship is like interesting, and it's almost a weird point of view thing to me because, you know, you have all the different Twilight soldiers are like, they love Hal. Like, they'll follow him anywhere. Like, Brand, who is like even more cynical than Namir, is like, yeah, I like quit my bounty hunting life and joined an idealistic cause for Hal. And like, that's weird. But then like Namir is like, he's crazy and he gets people killed. So like, to me, the disconnect is that like, I think that they're saying the same thing, but Namir just has different goals. Like, I feel like, kind of like how we were talking about, like, Namir doesn't actually give a shit about the outcome of this war. He just, like, needs somewhere to sleep, some food to eat, and some people to murder because that's the only thing he's good at. Whereas Hal is actually like, no, we have a mission and we need to accomplish things. And, like, if I need to sacrifice 10 more people so that an extra, you know, ship in the fleet can escape, I'm going to do that because that's my mission. And so I feel like that is like why Namir kind of hates him, because Namir's only like North Star is like keeping himself and other people alive because that's just how he grew up.
Yeah, and I think that Hal's like dedication to the actual rebel cause is definitely something that factors in, but I'm also wondering like what kind of leaders Namir has been working with in the past.
Crazy cult leader ones.
Yeah, I mean, he's been through enough that they're definitely not master strategists. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and it's just like I wonder if, you know, I don't want to just assume things about all of the folks who've led his little organizations before, but it all seems kind of tyrannical and cult-like, and I wonder if like that's just what he knows, and maybe he thinks that they fell for other reasons, that, you know, they just weren't strong enough or were technologically inferior or what, and then he like meets Hal, who's idealistic and whose people actually like love him for that and not because he gives them food and shelter, and he just like doesn't know what to do about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do you think, Chris?
No, I definitely think that's it. I think it's that Hal makes him uncomfortable because Hal's method of success is like diametrically opposed to Namir's method of success. And he doesn't, but also Hal is like clearly good at his job and Namir doesn't know how to handle that.
Me and Miranda just both went diametrically opposed foes
Yes.
to each other off mic because we hate Hamilton. Yeah, these are some of the, it's interesting because I don't feel like we have a ton of background about any of these folks yet, but I'm more invested in a lot of these characters than I think been in Star Wars books past. Just because the stakes are so fucking high, and like the little peppering in of original trilogy stuff that has happened, I'm like, oh my god, I know that thing.
Right.
And it's fucking crazy. I'm like, why do I care so much about these little shits?
And I will say that's like one of the things I really love about this, because I really like, and I may have spoken about this on maybe the Empire's End wrap up. Like, I love learning things that we don't already know about things that we know so much about, like Battle of Jakku, like how it unfolded and all of that. And so I really enjoy it when we have books that don't show like the main characters from the films and such that we're used to. But it, like when I figured out that Namir was talking to Han, I was like, oh, it's Han. So exciting. Look at them. They're having fun. They're drinking whiskey. And like,
They're having something.
Close enough. But it's just, I think it speaks to how good Alexander Freed is at writing, that he can just kind of weave that in and have it be like not a big deal at all.
Yeah, totally. This book
And we were
gives
all
me
just like, oh my god, it's Han!
Yep. This book gives me very like Lost Stars vibes in that way. Because like I feel like the reason we care so deeply about these people is because like they could actually die at any moment, whereas that is not usually the case in Star Wars books. Like, you know, we know that in Last Shot, neither Han nor Lando is going to die, nor Chewie. Like, we know that, you know, anytime you have any of the big characters, they're probably not going to die. Like, this isn't Game of Thrones. The main character is not going to die in the middle of it. Like, so, like, I feel like that, like, makes us more attached. And, like, you know, obviously we were very attached to Thane and Sienna. And, like, now we're attached to these characters. And, like, because, like you were saying, where there's actual stakes, like, it definitely does feel like that. And also, like, the fact that, you know, we could be seeing people in the background of the movies that we love. Like, that could be these people, and they could be dead. And we have no way to know. And I feel like there's just something in, like, fitting in those, like, edge puzzle pieces that's just really satisfying.
Yeah, like, when it really fucked me up, I knew they were all gonna die, but that part where what is it, like, D outpost or whatever the fuck on Hoth, and, like, they all basically fucking die except for, like, 3 people.
Yeah, where it was like it took 10 seconds for the plane to go south.
Yes.
Like, that's great. That and the part where Beak was literally cut in half by Darth Vader was those were chipper.
You hate to see it, folks.
That is going to put him on the DL for sure.
I mean, Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Yeah, except he cut him in half long ways though. That's the way you got to do it.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
really,
very thorough.
it was Obi-Wan's rookie mistake.
That is so true. Kenobi.
Padawan mistake, am I right?
Padawan mistake.
And, like, it's, you know, obviously we already talked about it with Hal dying, which is, like, he's the big one. But, like, we also see Ajax, who we met, like, Fectrin, who we met, Calendar, who we, like, heard about. And, like, all these people are, like, very accomplished. Like, they're not rookies. They were like squad leaders, and they're dead.
Yeah, and I think, like, Ajax is the one death that probably surprised me most. And again, kind of like how, like, I don't know why I didn't expect this in the book about war. But the first section that we read really built him up as, like, the veteran who's, like, been through everything. He's seen everything. He's very capable, and, like, you feel comfortable going into the field with him. And then it's just like, nope, he died on the ship. Walked over his body.
Just like everybody else. Fuck.
Yeah. For me, the brutal moment was, like, when they get the hyperdrive parts and they get Chalice back to the ship, and the order comes in and it's like 5 minutes and you leave. And then, like, Namir relays that, and, like, half of the people just, like, realize there's just no possible way for them to make it back. And it's like, well, guess I'll literally die.
Oh, yeah. That part stressed me out so much. Because, like, I don't know how big the ship they were on was, but, like, 5 minutes is not a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're fighting fucking stormtroopers everywhere. Like, that'll delay your progress a little bit. And, again, I think that's one of those sections that was very well written. And I think, if I recall correctly, like, from Namir's point of view, it was like, okay, in 30 seconds he had reached this place. It's like, this is who he ran into 30 seconds later, and, like, these are the decisions that are happening in, you know, just, like, split seconds in the 5 minutes they have to get back to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very high stakes, and you could tell.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's like, the other thing that just really struck me was, like, the funeral scene where, like, no matter how long you'd been with Twilight, you got one person to say one thing about you, and then your power pack was drained. And, like, the quote that I think was at the end of that chapter was, like, in death all soldiers are equal. And that was just like, fuck, man, just fuck me up. Because it's, like, it's so true, and there's a very Rogue One vibe to it. And, like, everyone is expendable. Like, all the hero you like, great, they're dead now. Like, that's awesome. Find a new hero, great, they're dead too. Like, hope you're having fun, because the universe sure is.
Like, and we talked to, if you missed last episode for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you didn't listen to the first one.
Yeah, and, like, honestly,
to the podcast at all.
And honestly, if you don't listen to every episode, like, how dare you?
Chris. Anyway, but last episode we talked about how like this really set the scene for Rogue One, and I asked Chris about which one came out first and blah blah blah. But like seriously, I'm getting so many the Rogue One vibes are continuing for sure.
And I think part of that too is like, obviously Rogue One was all about, well, this is how we got the plans for the Death Star, and like everybody dies because, the Death Star fucking blew up Scarif. And then they just kind of have to move on. And I think we see that generally in this book, but also specifically in that funeral scene, Chris, that you were talking about. It's, some of them have been with Twilight Company for a long time. And obviously, Ajax and Vectrin were very well respected. But at the end of the day, like, they're dead. You drain their power packs. You move on to the next day because that's what you have to do in this rebellion.
Yeah, for sure. Also,
who was the leader that they met that was like, oh, it was like the guy who was head of Hoth or whatever the fuck, and he was like, please don't think that it's lost on me that we just keep making you guys do really fucked up shit over and over again, and then you come back and then we make you go do more fucked up shit. Mm-hmm. We're gonna keep doing that. Sorry, gotta go.
Yeah.
It was the general what's his fuck.
Classic General what's his fuck. I also loved that Namir was like, I can't figure out what your angle is, and it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. See, also, Namir doesn't trust anybody and does not feel comfortable with positive reinforcement.
I was going to say, much like myself, Namir does not feel comfortable taking a compliment.
Big mood.
But yeah, I also just love that this book, like, just shows, really underscores how badly the rebellion is fucked right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because, like, I feel like, and this isn't a criticism of Empire, but I feel like a lot of times it does not fully come across how bad shape the rebellion is in. Because, like, like, the crawl starts, it's a dark time for the rebellion, but then, like, you see them, they have this big giant base, you see Han, Luke, and Leia all together, they're having fun, how bad could it be? Luke's in a diaper, it's a great party.
I'll see you in hell, Chris.
No, but, like, the rebellion straight up lost the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, no, that also doesn't come through in Empire, I don't think,
like,
because we only get Luke's perspective of, like, well, didn't die, made it to my X-Wing.
Yeah, and, like, everybody gets, the main players get out, but they took a big fucking L there.
Yeah.
Like, it did not end well at all. But I think this gives us a little more insight into how bad it really was. Because they're like, everything is fucked, everybody's dead. Darth Vader's here, just like yeeting fucking Imperial defectors around. It's not good.
Yeah, there's
they've been yote.
They've been. There's a sense of hopelessness in this book that you never get from the original movies, which, is by design. They're movies about hope. Like, again, this is, they sure are, Baby Bird. Like, this is by design. It's not a criticism, but they're very different stories. And, like, when you see Namir, like, trying to get up and being like, well, that's my rib. That doesn't feel like it's supposed to. Like, you are like, no, like, literally, how is anybody supposed to live through this?
Mm-hmm. And also, kick flipping off of that. That's the same scene where he's just, like, going through this very long hallucination. And he's like, am I dreaming? Or, like, did this actually happen?
Yeah.
And that's just, like, piling onto kind of a lot of the trauma that we've already seen in this book. Like, they had the hallucinations on Coyote. But this one is like, is this person dead or not? Did I see this person get sliced in half by Darth Vader, who is apparently actually terrifying, unlike what I thought before?
Yeah.
Also, can I just say really quick, like, I loved kind of the scene where Vader was on Echo Base if only for Namir to like get to see him, and because we talked about this last episode, Namir doesn't know who the fuck Darth Vader is. He doesn't care. He like sees the bus and was like, oh, okay, whatever. And people talk about how scary he is, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Vader shows up on Hoth, and Namir's just like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Like, he has a force field now? What is this, like, laser blade thing he's got going on?
We'll use the Force.
That's not how the Force works, Kristen. But no, totally. And like he's like, I think I was hallucinating. I know some people died, but I'm pretty sure I saw a grenade move in midair and somebody get sliced in half by a laser blade, and I know that those two things aren't possible. So it just adds to that terror. And yeah, this scene is just very Darth Vader on the profundity at the end of Rogue One vibes, which
I was just gonna say,
my favorite Vader.
It's very reminiscent of the beginning or the end of Rogue One. For sure.
I will never forget how I felt when I saw that for the first time in the movie theater. That was just the coolest thing I've ever seen. The coolest and most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
Does that cover us?
I think it
Is there anything else
does.
we want to talk about?
No.
This was a lot of plot movement forward, as the middles of these books often are.
Can I just throw in, like, one quick aside?
No, yeah, of course you can.
Brand is a fucking badass. She just yeeted herself into space
Yeah, she did.
to, like, slide down a fucking mail chute or whatever it was.
Yes, space mail chute. That's absolutely what it was.
Yeah. No, Brand is
Neither
amazing.
rain
Oh my god.
nor snow.
Nor a covert mutiny.
Or, you know, vast emptiness of space. The mail will still come.
I don't think it will.
I just want you to know how deeply I hate you, Miranda.
That's fair.
All right. Well, there's no better way to end it than that. So thank you for tuning in to episode 87 of the Book Wars Pod. We'll be back next week, continuing our discussion of Battlefront Twilight Company by Alexander Freed, talking about chapters 21 through 29. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, #unsupervisedpod, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at bookwarspod, and bookwarspod@gmail.com if you want to email us, and review and subscribe to us and the Tashi Station Radio mega feed. Don't forget what we said last week. We're going to be giving away shit from Star Wars Celebration any day now. We're just waiting for Kate to come back so that she can have a say in, like, picking a winner and what we're doing. But it ain't going to hurt your chances to review us. I'll say that. So leave us a review, particularly on iTunes. It helps people discover the show and helps us get the word out about this trash-tastic hobby that we have, and it's the best.
I am Snoke.
Sure are. You sure are, Snoke. In the meantime, donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon and give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. Really helps us cover our hosting and production costs. You all did get a picture of Pork Chop on the Instagram over the weekend. So over the weekend? Yeah, I think over the weekend. So really that one was a freebie, but if you wanted to retroactively give us coffee to, help you and your fellow listeners deserve it, we certainly wouldn't say no. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terror Design. Thank you, as always, for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. For Kristen and Miranda, I'm Chris, and we will see you next week.
Kate, please come back.
I'm really sad Miranda didn't do her, sad, clown air horn like she did last week. Yeah, exactly.